You're listening to the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. Now here's your hosts, Kevin, Derek, and Alex.
All righty, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. I am Derek, and joined as always by your co-host, Kevin. Kevin, how we doing tonight?
Doing good. Super Bowl week. Finally got the big game coming up between the Seahawks and the Patriots for Super Bowl 60, in case everyone tuning in has somehow lost track of the time here a little bit. So we finally get to put the cap on the 2025 NFL season this Sunday, and then off to the races in the offseason here. But all head coaching vacancies have now been filled. I believe there might be a coordinator or two that are still left out there, but most of the coordinator positions have been filled. So the good thing is it allows for a little bit of research and some good accurate breakdowns when we start talking about the teams and players here this upcoming season, that this isn't getting drawn out, if you will. So happy about that. Been watching a bit of hockey. Not so much the NBA. The Nugs have not been playing very well lately, and I know Jokic has been out, but they dropped another one tonight to the Pistons of all places. So a little bummed about that. But Avs are still really good. So we're watching as much Avs hockey as we possibly can, and just kicking it, man. How you doing?
No complaints, right? We're rocking and rolling. It's Tuesday night. We're getting to chat some football with you, so great time, and ready to look into this one, right? We've got the as you mentioned, we got the big game this weekend. Should be a lot of fun. With that, we'll hopefully we'll see a good game there as well, right? It was interesting to see some of the pressers start taking place, right? And some of the early questions that came out, and some of the, I don't know. Do you think these reporters stay up, like actually stay up and think like, hey, what's a really good question I should ask this coach or player heading into arguably the biggest event of what could very well be the biggest event and biggest game of their career?
I don't think they do. I don't think they do. I think that they ask a question because they're sent there. I think if we really looked at it, the best questions would probably come from like your local talk show host, like just syndicated radio, your local, sports talk host, like your afternoon drive type thing, or your morning show, one or the other. Those are typically, obviously, because of traffic and everything else, those are the two high volume slots. Send someone from there and have them ask questions. Like the Washington Post and the New York Times, or what is it, the Chicago Tribune, LA Times, like these bozos just lob them up there. Coach, like, how's your routine different this week than it is on most weeks? Like, coach, like, do you think your star quarterback's going to be out there? Like, you jerk off. Like, these are such terrible questions that we just, I don't know. Like, we need to do better in a time where transparency, everyone wants to be transparent and everyone wants to talk about, like, ask a good question. Like, hey, like, do you feel like it makes life easier that Zach Charbonnet's out, so you only have to focus on Kenneth Walker in the running game? Like, does that save you time and planning where you can focus on other things? Like,
how does that alter your game plan, right?
Like, like, ask Vrabel, do you expect Christian Gonzalez, or are you thinking that Christian Gonzalez is going to travel into the slot to be able to cover JSN, or is he going to predominantly stay outside like he has all season long? Like, most people probably don't know that he stayed outside all season long. Everyone thinks every star cornerback is a traveling lockdown corner, and they're not. Right? Many of them take a side of the field. A lot of them do not go inside, outside, and vice versa. Like, so educate the fan base. Ask a good question.
Right. They're not worried about stopping the singular player, right? They're worried about taking away a third of the field with your cornerback, and now you've got 10 guys in 2/3 of the field to contain with, right? Like, that's the reason you draft these shutdown corners and why you don't let them go. But you're right, a lot of folks don't think of it that way, and think of it that they're that you're going to have a guy travel across the field and we're going to see this matchup all game long. Just not the case, right? So it's always interesting to see. But those two questions that you posed out there earlier, I would actually say that those were probably more insightful and thoughtfully put together than some of the questions we saw posed out there. Somebody went and asked Vrabel, is this a must-win game? Like, is this a must-win game? That's what you chose your time to ask. Is this a must-win game? Or
like,
something?
what do you expect him to say? Like, it's the Super Bowl. Like, you want to win this game. Do I feel like the world is going to end if we don't? No, I'm still going to wake up on Monday morning. But yeah, this is why we play. Like, what a stupid question. Like, you're better off asking him, hey, it's the night before the Super Bowl and you're laying in bed. What's the one thought that keeps you up all night? And just leave it open-ended like that and then see how he answers it. Like, don't stop asking yes or no questions. That is journalism 101. Like, if you want to be a good journalism major and be able to interview people and have good dialogue and interviewing, even like in jobs and everything else, stop asking yes or no questions.
Right.
Ask an open-ended question and allow the person to elaborate and see what kind of color or personality they'll put behind their answer. These people need to be fired. Like, it's just terrible. Fired. Fake news, crappy news. It's not even fake. It's just crappy. Like, fire them. They suck.
The other one that I enjoyed when listening to some of those was somebody asked McDonald, right, Seattle's head coach, if you get down to a position like the last time Seattle was in the Super Bowl, are you going to pass it or are you going to run it? And like, I get that you want to try and talk about the last time that they were there, and that was a very, hot controversy right afterwards, and people still talk about it to this day. That why don't you just hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch and let him get you a yard, right? Like, why not let him go beast mode and get you one, right? But at the same time,
McDonald's not very old. Like, there's a good chance he was still sucking on his thumb when that happened. Like, let alone 85% of the players on that Seattle roster were like doing Pop Warner football. Like, they weren't even in grade school yet. Like,
right?
Again, stupid question. Like,
right.
stupid
11 years ago.
page.
Yep.
This is why holistically, and this isn't political. This is just holistically. This is why the news has turned to trash all the way across the board, is because of stupid questions like that.
So that's a diatribe for a different show, but we
this is why Marshawn Lynch was right. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Right.
I'm just here so I don't get. This is why beast mode was right in taking the podium and then just giving the same answer over and over and over again. Like, you ask stupid questions, you deserve a stupid answer. Is this a must-win game? I don't know. What do you think?
An interesting thought. Why don't you give me yours?
Yeah.
So, just some of the
pays for you to come out here and talk to me, and that's what I would say. Your company paid for you to come out here and talk to me, and that's what you're going to ask? I hope they get their money back. Like, stupid.
But so that's the it makes you want. A lot of people gave grief to Bill Belichick for how he answered so many of those pressers and questions from the podium, and giving us the iconic we're on to Cincinnati, right? Like,
playing Tom and Rob and Richard. I mean, I miss that already. Like, I do.
I was really looking forward to seeing his speech this fall, but we got robbed of that one. We went over that last week. We won't rehash that, but I also saw
Kraft too. They host Kraft too. Again,
again, right? Like,
this is why you have to answer these stupid questions, because otherwise these jackwagons who have a vote, who have no business having a vote, do stupid shit like this.
I'm not a New England fan or a Patriots fan, right? Like, I'll put that disclaimer on it, but quite frankly, if two guys deserve to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in their category, you're looking at the two right there with Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick, right? Like, no owner has gotten a team to as many Super Bowls as Robert Kraft, right? No owner has right now the Steelers and the Patriots are tied at 6 for total wins in the game, but those the the Steelers were spaced out and had different owners in the running the team throughout those 6, right? Robert Kraft was at the helm for all 6 of those Patriot ones. So anyway, again, not a Patriots apologist or anything like that, but that was an interesting one to see people come out and vote some guy that was good in his day, right? But was he an all-time great? And we should be electing him 40 years down the road? No. No, it's the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Greatness, not the Hall of okay, good.
Yeah, I hope the NFL does what they say, and they're really going to look into this and take votes away from people if they need to. Like the ballot strictly says the best of this group. That's who you're voting for, the best of this group, not who's been on the list the longest, not who got slighted because someone was always better, not, oh, you really like them in 5th grade, so now you're going to vote on them that you have a chance to vote on them. Like the best of this group. And they failed.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Is what it is. Man, get me all worked up. First, we just started the show, man. You're getting me all worked up over these.
Anyway, we'll move on, right? We do
silly
have
things.
We do have a couple of questions and comments in the chat, so we'll stop by there and check in, and then we'll get into some of the props and some of that stuff that we wanted to chat about. Sherry over on YouTube saying that they believe that the Seahawks will beat the Patriots. Isaac, I'm thinking, is agreeing with that, saying I believe. Sherry said, who has played that's competition except for Josh Allen? And the Patriots did have a rather weak strength of schedule. But at this point, right, you can only play the schedule that you've got, and you managed to get there. You managed to make it all the way to the end when other teams didn't. So, I mean, it's a fair point, but at this point too, it's all out the window, right? When it's one game, winner take all, and it's win or go home, right? You can take that, who they played, who they haven't played, the competition, all out the window, especially when they've had 2 weeks to prepare and get ready for this game.
I mean, they played Geno Smith,
right?
I mean, I get the question. It's just
so. Sherry saying, is beast mode in the backfield? No, he retired. Nathan asking or saying the Seahawks fan checking in, itching for redemption. So, and I think this will be a good game, right? Like, this is one of those that Seattle is favored in this one, but yeah, I think we're gonna get a very tight game throughout this entirety of this game, right? I don't think that we're going to see somebody just jump out and run away with it, and we've got a boring game. I think this one's going to come down to, 1 or 2 possessions at the end of the game is going to make the difference.
Yeah, I think the Patriots cover. I think Seattle ultimately wins this game, but I do think the Patriots cover.
So I could see that as well, right? Like, I think this one's going to come down to play type of deal, and we'll see how that one comes to pass. So, any other thoughts on any of those?
No, I don't think so.
Alrighty. Well, we did find some of the the props, right? There's a whole bunch of things you can find in Vegas for this game, and which way the wind blows. Interestingly enough, though, I always think that the some of the funner prop bets, come from the Canadian side of things there, because they have a little different things that they can proposition there than what you can in the States. Things such as like the Gatorade Gatorade color, national anthem, Super Bowl, halftime shows, all of those types of things. So we'll go through some of that and through some of the standard type of props there as well. You want to go ahead and hit us off with one?
Yeah, sorry. Scrolling through here and lost my spot. Sorry. Caught me off guard here, D.
No worries. I got one I got one
If you
ready
have
in
one
the
tied up,
chamber.
I'll find the one I was looking for. Sorry,
all right.
man.
No worries. I got one in the chamber. We'll fire this one. Super Bowl Gatorade color, right? First Gatorade poured on the winning head coach. Thoughts on this one?
Orange.
Orange is the predominant favorite at a plus 240 out there. Again, right? These are lines coming out of Canada, and it looks like you have to be in Canada to place those. But with a close second of yellow/lime or green at 260, blue at 260, purple at 750, and red/pink at 1,000, and water/clear at 1,100. Very well could be the orange, but I think I'm gonna pivot and say it's gonna be in that yellow, lime, or green color. I kind of just like that angle there.
Okay. My next bet was gonna be purple.
Okay.
I don't know. These teams, I always want the teams to like have their color as the Gatorade color, and it just doesn't really play out that way. Like,
No,
I'm not sure how they vote on that, or how that's determined by the team, or is it a team captain choice? Is it the players just all get together and they just by noise, right? Like the old third grade adage, like
right?
hoot and holler if you want blue. Like, or is it? I can't believe it's a coach decision. I don't believe that. I think it's either a equipment manager,
yes,
or it's driven by the captains of the team and say, hey, this is what we want. Our guys don't like the lemon flavor, so let's not do yellow. Let's do something else.
Right. I can't imagine that that's something that they. Yeah, I imagine that they have a kind of just a weekly routine, week in, week out, right? Every game of the season, it's somebody in the athletic training department that just says, all right, this week, this is what it is. Or it could be that they've gone with this color every game of the week so far, or every game of the season so far, so they're sticking with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't imagine that that's something that they're putting on a coach's plate, or even a player captain type of plate, right? Like, this is one of those you want to try and remove a lot of the trivial, remove a lot of the minutia off of the plate, and just have guys focusing on the details of what it is they're supposed to do, not necessarily the details of the flavor.
Right.
So,
here's one: the distance of the first touchdown of the game, over or under, just one or two choices, 7.5 yards.
I'm going to go with over.
I'm leaning the under.
Okay.
And it's because I feel like there's just going to be a whole lot of, I think it's going to be a ground fest for the most part. Like, but it's a short total. Like, it is a short total.
Right.
But I think I'm going to lean the under on this one.
Well, I could just see them doing like a running back draw to Kenneth Walker, and he sneaks his way up and in there and gets it right on like a 9 or 10 yarder. Or they do a little dump out to like Ramadre or something like that, and you see him like that's where I'm thinking this is going to be. I think it's still probably going to be coming from the backfield, or a play very close to the line of scrimmage, like a little bubble screen that just manages to break loose. So, because I'm very much of the same opinion that we're going to see things played very close to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be somebody just happens to make a guy miss and break out there.
Yeah, that very well could be.
So, all right, here's a fun one. First coach shown on the broadcast during the national anthem Is it Mike McDonald or Mike Vrabel?
Vrabel.
That is the odds-on favorite right now at a minus 142. Mike McDonald is a plus 116.
Okay. Here's an interesting one, and this
Okay.
one has a big payout if you pick one side versus the other. Will there be an octopus in the Super Bowl? And for those of you who don't know what an octopus is in NFL terms, it is a player who scores the touchdown, also scores the 2-point conversion.
We did have one of those a few years ago, but I'm going to go with no. I don't think we're going to see. I don't even think we're going to see a 2-point conversion in this one.
So minus 6,000 for the no. So it's not really worth your time. But if you want to give it a stab, it's plus 1,600.
Okay.
Again, this is how Vegas makes money, right? You think these odds, like, man, if this hits, like $10, like here we go. Like I'll take $160 off of 10. Like, yeah, but you're most likely just throwing your $10 away.
Right. So, let's see here.
Ooh.
Will Cardi B wear a Stephon Diggs jersey?
Yeah, I think she
Okay.
does.
That's a plus 170. The no is a minus 250.
Okay.
So they're thinking the odds are that she doesn't wear a.
The Super Bowl. I think she does.
Okay. Okay.
Here you go. Going, and this is mine are more game oriented. Yours aren't, but I like some of these. Total punts by both teams. Over or under 7.5.
Oh, under. I had 6 in my head when you said the total number of punts, and the number I came to was 6. So I'm going under.
Okay. Under is the odds on favorite at minus 130.
Okay.
So over is plus 110.
Okay. So not too shabby there. Let's see here. Total number of songs during the halftime show. The line is 11.5 over or under.
I know absolutely nothing about this guy other than the stuff that doesn't revolve around the Super Bowl. It's like I have no idea. Over, just because it seems like everybody always tries to get as many as possible.
Right.
That's been the trend lately, so I'm going to lean the over just based off of recency. But I couldn't tell you where one would start and the next one would start and one would end, and I know nothing. I plan on watching the Puppy Bowl. I have zero interest in watching this halftime show. It just does not appeal to me.
Fair enough.
But I don't think they're trying to appeal to me. Like, I think Roger Goodell does not care about his, 30 some odd year old white male fan base. He knows they're going to be there regardless. So it does nothing for me.
Well, it was very similar thought we had last year, right? With Kendrick Lamar, right? Like,
and that turned out to be great,
right?
The more I dug into that halftime show, the more I really liked that.
Right. But it was a deal where we had to go through and like do research after the fact to go, oh, that was actually pretty good. Because my initial standpoint on that was, oh, well, I knew one of those songs. I played it on the radio once or twice that I'd heard, but yeah. But yeah, kind of diving in, it turned out to be pretty good, right? And who knows, maybe we'll get surprised like that again this year. So either way, the over-under is both minus 110.
Okay, even odds.
Even odds on that.
Where? Okay, here we go. Total receptions by Kenneth Walker. Over or under 2.5?
I think we'll see the over. 3's in my mind.
That's the odds favorite. Minus 180 for the over.
Okay.
Plus 160 on the under.
Okay. I don't mind that. Alrighty, let's see here. Who will be the MVP? Who do they thank first in their post-game acceptance speech?
Are there options?
There are. It's a religious figure, teammates, family, coach, fans, team organization. And that is the order of increasing odds as I went through that list.
I guess that goes to who you think's going to win, and then who the MVP of that would be.
You mean which team's going to win, and then just pick the quarterback?
If the Seahawks win, I don't think it's Sam Darnold.
Okay.
That's what I was just kind of running through in my head. Like I think it's Kenneth Walker.
Okay. Interesting. And he could have a very good game.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's my dark horse. If the Seahawks win, it's Kenneth Walker. If the Patriots win, it's Drake May.
Okay.
Teammates.
Okay.
As I said earlier, I think the Seahawks win. I think teammates.
Okay. Very good. So yeah, that's a plus 210 on that one. Okay. So, and again, all of that list that I've been going through and utilizing looks like that's off of a FanDuel up in Canada, that you have to be in Canada to go through that. But fun stuff to nevertheless talk about and put a little bit of thought to. Do you have a?
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Total sacks by the Seahawks defense, 3.5.
I'm going to go with the under. I think that they do enough to get the ball out of Drake May's hands that they and quick enough that they're going to have a hard time getting to that many sacks. But yeah, I'll take the under just slightly.
So the under's odds on at minus 150. I think I'm going to take the over.
Okay.
And the reason for that is Drake May's time before release is one of the longest in the NFL, 2.7 to 2.8 seconds.
Okay.
Seattle's defense has forced the ball out in an average of 2.3 seconds.
Okay.
And so typically
that half second's a big deal.
That half second's a big deal, right? It's the blink of an eye, and that's the difference in getting to the quarterback. But typically when that happens, it's the defense because they're playing in their normal cadence, and that allows for the sacks. And then when the QB gets sped up, a lot of times his eyes drop, and then you even get sacks on like the attempted scrambles, right? Because they're behind the line of scrimmage. Right. So I'm gonna take the over, but I see this game being a lot lower scoring than I think a lot of people do. Like 20 to 17 is the score I keep coming up with. So I think there's going to be a lot of room for defensive plays, a lot of punts. Like, I think it's going to be a really good game. I envision the game script going differently than a lot of people.
Fair enough. Mario chiming in here saying, good evening, fellas. We all know the Seahawks is the better team and will walk away with the chip. If not, the league is rigged. Mario is on that rigged kick over the last few weeks here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd tell you the Seahawks are probably a year early. Or the Patriots, excuse me. I think the Patriots a year early, and I think the Seahawks have played well. Like, they've come together faster than anybody thought. Like, again, the Seahawks getting into the playoffs, I don't think was a shock. Like, and I could be mistaken, Derek, but preseason didn't a couple of us take the Seahawks to win that division?
Yes.
So I think we realized that they were going to be playoff worthy. I don't know that I realized that they were going to be Super Bowl worthy, because again, I haven't heard or gotten a response from anybody who said, "Hey, this is Seahawks. Seahawks are my Super Bowl team in the NFC."
Right.
So I don't know. It just, are they a better team? Quite possibly. Are they going to be the better team on Sunday? Game time will tell us. Like,
Right.
we think so, but
That's why
if
you
you're
lace them up.
betting, well, and if you're betting, right, the public is all on Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So what's gambling 101? If the public's all on one side, you pivot.
Right. You start playing the contrarian.
So again, it's one game. And right, wrong, or indifferent, Mike Vrabel played in this game. He understands how to coach up for Super Bowls because he had to play in multiple. Like, there is experience there that no one's really talking about. Like, oh, the first coach ever, but you don't talk about. Yeah, you want to talk about interview questions? Hey, Mike, what is information that you gained as a player on how to handle Super Bowl week that you could pass down to your team to help their success? What a great interview question that would be.
Right.
No one's asking that one. But what a great interview question that could be. It's thoughtful. It's about the game. Like, you're allowing him to open response and pick something that maybe no one in the room had ever thought of.
Right.
But I do think that holds some credence. And I think that's probably why I think New England's covering. Like, just, I know it's not coaching experience, but experience in how to handle the week, experience on what to expect in pregame and come kickoff and the game flows and everything else. Mike Vrabel won't blink because he's done this before. And I think that holds a lot of weight that no one's talking about.
That very well could be. So, but yeah, definitely interesting on that one. And you're right, did not hear a single kind of question come up around that. Now, yeah, I haven't dove through all of the media clips and all of that there, but yeah, and sometimes we just happen to catch the more sillier, mundane, clickbaity type of things. But yeah, I think you've got something. You're kind of in the ballpark there that very well could be an advantage for this team, right? Like, it's also unlike any other game that they've ever played before, right? Like, you have 2 full weeks off of it. You're on the road. You're having to go through a whole different media blitz and frenzy, all these different events leading up to it, and then once you get into the game, you still got to contend with longer type of prep things in between, halftime shows being extended out there, all of the things that come into that there is some institutional knowledge, so to speak, with Vrabel having been there and done that before.
Yep. I'm putting this question back up because we've given the Patriots a lot of grief for their schedule. I'm looking at their schedules side by side. Seattle's ain't any better.
Right.
Because that question there, who have the Patriots played except Josh Allen? I'm going to tell you, who have the Seahawks played aside from Matthew Stafford?
Right.
San Francisco, Purdy got knocked out. Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Arizona, both teams played Tampa Bay. Seattle lost, New England won. Jacksonville, Houston, Washington, Tennessee, Minnesota, Atlanta, Indianapolis, Carolina. Like, that was the Seahawks. That's the teams that they played.
Right.
It's not any more or less impressive than what the Patriots did, guys.
Well, both of those teams got the benefit of the schedule because neither one of them were playoff teams last year. Right? Patriots had an easier schedule because, well, they were far worse than Seattle was last year. But again, both of those teams had a benefit of the schedule going against them with their last season's performance. So it'll be interesting to see next year when both of these teams have to go out and play first place schedule in their conference.
Yeah, it will be. Okay, sorry. I wanted to circle back to that because I finally found a way to look
Talk
at
about
them
it.
side by
Yeah.
side. But yeah, I'd argue Seattle's ain't any better.
Fair enough. Alrighty. On any other thoughts on the props or anything else that you want to hit up here for the week?
I think for the Patriots to more so the game. I think for the Patriots to be successful, if Seattle has a weakness on defense, it's short passes to the running back. That is their worst statistical category as a defensive unit. So if you're into prop bets and player props and everything else, be looking at Travion Henderson. That's a possibility. Again, they need some way to be dynamic. Travion Henderson allows you that. I understand that Ramondre's been getting a ton of the run right now. He's kind of been the hot hand, but what better time to kind of lull people to sleep and make them not worry about Henderson? And then you have a couple packages specifically for him because he's a one-touch go guy. And in the Super Bowl, sometimes that can be the entire difference. In the regular season, you always seem to be able to fight back from that. In the Super Bowl, everything's so elevated. So a one-touch go guy like Henderson, who hasn't seen a whole lot of run lately, is a big key to success in my eyes. On the flip side, it's Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
It's not JSN. Like, we expect certain things out of JSN, right? And part of what we expect out of JSN is 85 to 100 yards and most likely a touchdown, right? That's what we expect out of JSN. Cooper Kupp in the regular season was relatively quiet, but in the playoffs, his usage and production has really ticked up. They're really leaning on his veteran leadership and him kind of being able to go through that. A former Super Bowl MVP himself. So, I think that wide receiver room's leaning off of him, and their one-touch go guy that no one's really talking about is Rashid Shaheed, right? Kickoff return, a mixed coverage, right? Broken coverage, and Shaheed gets behind the defense, something like that. Seattle has more ways to win the game, whether it's Walker breaking loose, Shaheed breaking loose, JSN. They have more big name players. I'll give him that. But I'm going back to the experience of the New England coaching staff. How many Super Bowls has Josh Daniels coached in?
A bunch.
Is this 5? Is this
Yeah,
is this his
I
5th
think it's
or
more
4th?
than that. I think it might be his 6th.
Okay, so again, it's experience in that manner. And the coaching staff experience that New England has allows for this game to bridge the gap in star player talent. So again, Seattle wins. Go ahead.
I was just say, sorry, Josh McDaniels has 6 Super Bowl rings from working with his time there, from what I just looked up. So, yeah, basically he was the quarterback's coach in 36, 38, and 39, and then also the offensive coordinator, won 3 more with 40, 51, and 53.
There you go. So I think Seattle can win the game 20-17, but I do think New England covers. I think they find a way to make it ugly. I think they find a way to keep it low scoring. And the unknowing of turnovers. If
Right.
New England can turn Seattle over and Sam Darnold is not able to protect the football, that's a big problem. Now, Drake May's been a little bit loose with the football, right? He's had a couple interceptions in each one of the playoff games this year. So the same could be said. Drake May has to find a way to be smarter with the football, not turn it over. But if he can be responsible and Sam Darnold, I don't want to make the ghost comment. I think that's overplayed and happened a lifetime ago in football years. But if Sam Darnold can, if the Patriots can force him into a turnover or two, we could see this game get flipped over pretty quickly.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. Mario's in the chat talking about that he's firmly on the side of Seattle, saying that they have an advantage in the offense, advantage kind of all across the board. It sounds like looking through this, and that the Patriots are limited at best type of thing. But you don't make it to this point being limited at best, right? Like they found a way to go out there and win games and have managed to keep winning games. And I think that this game is going to be much closer than everybody's giving it credit for. And I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than most people are thinking as well.
Yeah. Don't confuse lack of stars for lack of talent.
Right. So, well, very cool. Anything else you want to hit up this week?
No, I'm excited for the game, right? I'm excited to get into next season already. Again, the heartbreak of the Bronco fan, whatever. So it's still a little bittersweet, but I'm ready to put a cap on this one, start looking at next year. Hope springs eternal. Start to see what free agency does now that all the coaching staffs are in place. Then we have the draft and all these things that kind of make us giddy. Then for fantasy purposes, you have dynasty rookie drafts, you have dynasty startups, then you get in the redraft season and all these player breakdowns between now and then. So, I mean, it's crazy to think that, excuse me, in 6 months, we are in the heat of draft season. In 7 months, we will be kicking off the season.
Absolutely.
For 2026, and it goes by quick. The offseason seems to go by a bit faster every year. So, I'm looking forward to the game, but I'm looking forward to next year.
Absolutely. So it'll be a good time, and very much look forward to rock and rolling there. Mario did have this last question, and then we're gonna call it a night here. But Mario asking thoughts on Matt Nagy going to the Giants as an offensive coordinator.
I don't mind Nagy going there. I think Nagy obviously didn't serve well as a head coach in Chicago, but he did have some success, playing with Mahomes and the Andy Reid offense and having that young quarterback early on in his career. And I think what Nagy does is he allows Harbaugh to continue to coach the team, because Harbaugh is not a specialist offensively or defensively. He is a facilitator. He is the general manager of the team. So you need guys that you can trust as coordinators. And Harbaugh has shown that time and time again. He wants guys who he can trust to run that. And I think Nagy will be just fine once they get fully healthy. But you need to see Neighbors back. You need a little bit of help on the offensive line. You need Scattaboo back. Like, you need another weapon, to go on the outside. Like Darius Slayton and the cast of characters just ain't working. But I think Nagy can put together a game plan that uses a lot of those jack of all trades receivers, because that's kind of what Kansas City has had outside of Tyreek Hill, especially when Nagy was there. So I think he can have some success there. I'm not saying they're going to turn around and win the division, but I think they're going to be much more competitive, and I think they're going to be a real pain in everyone's backside once the Harbaugh culture takes over.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think it will probably be be all right, right? Like this isn't anything that's going to blow your socks off, but it's also not going to be anything that necessarily leaves you, slamming your head against the wall, right? Like, so I think I think it's interesting that they went this route, but it doesn't necessarily surprise me. So anyway, I think it'll be interesting to see how the rest of these coaching decisions and coaching trees fall into place, right? Right now it looks like Clint Kubiak set to kind of be the next guy in the Raiders, and
I like that.
you like what?
Kubiak. I like that move.
Yeah.
Once that happens, I think that speaks really good things for both Genty and Bowers. I think it absolutely cements that Fernando is going to be the number 1 overall pick. And then after that, I think you dump a ton of talent or draft picks into that offensive line. We'll see what they do in free agency because they got quite a bit of money to spend also. So the Raiders could be one of those teams that are able to turn around rather quickly and go from cellar dwellers to being pretty competitive.
Yeah, it could be very interesting. But I do believe that that's going to do it for us tonight. Any final thoughts out there for the viewers and listeners?
Kind of went through the list of what's coming in the next weeks and months, but thanks for everyone. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Be sure to hit like and subscribe so that way you guys can get the notifications. We go live every Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. And I hope y'all enjoy the Super Bowl and all the snacks. We didn't even talk about the snacks tonight, but I hope you enjoy all the snacks that go along with the game.
That might have to be the smorgasbord we talk about on next Tuesday is what was on the plate there. So
that's right.
All right. But that's going to do it for us tonight. He's Kevin. I'm Derek. Have a good one. Be safe. Toodaloos.